Receding floodwaters reveal the devastation left behind by Hurricane Harvey's wrath. And meet the Flathead Valley's first canine unit with a partnership meant for life.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Dennis Bragg. Jill Valley has the night off. Firefighters, Glacier National Park staff, and generations of park visitors and employees are heartbroken at the loss of one of the park's most historic buildings to a wildfire. The unbelievable new video released late today from Glacier shows the main building in the Sperry Chalet quickly engulfed in flames from the Sprague fires we told you about last night. Glacier Park officials say the firefighters had been battling the ember shower from the approaching fire front, and they suddenly noticed puffs of smoke under an eave of the old building. They immediately sprayed the area with water because they thought it was an ember on the roof. But almost instantaneously, that window broke out and flames were licking at the eaves, destroying the historic chalet. Firefighters continue to protect those surrounding structures as they worked in the area again today. With more than 500,000 acres on fire or already torched in Montana, Governor Bullock says the state continues to face serious fire conditions and that top priority remains the safety of firefighters and protecting Montanans and their properties. Today, the governor issued an executive order declaring a state of disaster to exist in Montana due to all the fires. The latest declaration allows Bullock to mobilize additional state resources and the National Guard to combat the fires. As we head into Labor Day weekend, let's take a look at the status of the fires burning across western Montana. Again, this is the largest fires. That's what we have time for. New tonight, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office announcing pre-evacuation warnings for all residents in the West Kootenai due to fire activity at the lightning-caused Caribou Fire in northwest Montana. That fire is about 18 miles northwest of Eureka. It's west of Lake Koocanusa and has burned nearly 4,800 acres, spreading into Canada. Law enforcement will be going door to door tomorrow morning to inform residents of these warnings. Officials are recommending, though, people needing extra care or assistance evacuate right away. They're also recommending livestock be moved. Rice Ridge near Seeley Lake now 18% contained tonight, but evacuation orders and warnings remain for nearly 1,100 properties in and around the town of Seeley. The Sprague fire burning in Glacier National Park that again burned the Sperry Chalet on Thursday. Fire officials report that fire doubled in size overnight. It's now an additional 2,500 acres, the total just under 5,000 acres. But the Going to the Sun Road remains open, as well as the majority of the park to visitors. 65 homeowners living near the Nelson Creek fire south of Darby were allowed to return home this morning after being evacuated earlier this week. That 205-acre fire on the West Fork is 15% contained. Evacuation orders remain in place for the Frog Pond area in Granite County near the Myers fire. Also evacuation warnings in place for about 225 homes in the East Fork of southeast Valley County and Moose Lake residents in Granite County. That blazed nearly 29,000 acres tonight. Evacuation warnings were lifted in Missoula County around the Lolo Peak fire earlier this week, but residents in Ravalli County near the fire down in Florence still remain under evacuation warnings tonight. Firefighters, though, making progress on that 41,000-acre fire. It's 31% contained. And the fire sparked a couple of days ago in Sanders County. The Sheep Gap fire grew from 200 to an estimated 1,600 acres tonight west of Plains. Homes along the River Road remain under pre-evacuation notice tonight. It was a week of hot temperatures, red flag warnings, and at times hazardous air quality. But what can we expect for a Labor Day weekend? Meteorologist Russ Thomas joins us tonight with the latest conditions. Russ?
All those things you just said. There's your answer. It does look like between Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we're going to see hot temperatures, especially the next 2 days. Then Sunday night, Monday, it is going to be windy, first from the west, then turning around from the east. So fire spreads are certainly a possibility there. 71 degrees in Missoula currently, 72 in Polson. We've got 74 Thompson Falls, a lot of mid-60s out there otherwise. We'll look at our satellite and radar image. And what we're going to show you is, again, quiet conditions, dry conditions, not a cloud in the sky here in western Montana. And again, it looks like the weekend is going to be dry, which you've got Labor Day plans, helpful for that, but hot for the Grizz game. They'll have details coming out.
Now with the evacuations because of the Rice Ridge fires, Seeley Swan High classes are going to be moved to the resort at Paws Up next week. Because of the high schools in the evacuation zone, school officials had canceled classes this week. So starting on Tuesday, high schoolers will be relocated to the new administrative building at Paws Up in Greeno. The classes will be held at Paws Up until further notice. All students will be required to ride the bus there. For details on updated bus routes and bus stops, you can go to our website. Practices for sports will be held at Mount Jumbo Elementary in Missoula. Athletes will be bused to practices and competitions will be rescheduled to alternate locations. Parents should contact any questions to the temporary school phone number. That's 274-0596. One of the longest burning fires in western Montana continues to consume timber in the southern Sapphire Range after making a run over the Ravalli County line earlier this week. The Myers Fire also started during passing lightning storms in mid-July. It's burned just short of 29,000 acres as of this afternoon. Just under 300 firefighters are working this blaze. Montana National Guard manning the roadblocks there. The fire had mainly been burning in Granite County, south and southeast of Phillipsburg, but made a run into the East Fork of the Bitterroot in high winds earlier this week. Fire operations continue today, with residents of the upper East Fork remain on those evacuation warnings. Burnout operations are continuing on the Lolo Peak fire as fire managers continue to try and use the landscape and weather to slow the big fire spread to the south. The fire, which was started by lightning in mid-July, has burned just over 41,000 acres. That's the new number tonight. Thursday's strong winds presented another challenge for fire crews, and the fire did make a run to the south through One Horse Creek. But that's where firefighters had already built burnout boxes to keep the fire from spreading down into Florence.
So yesterday, the fire got established at the bottom of One Horse Creek and then started moving up the mountain and got up toward the top of the ridge. And then last night, the weather conditions became more favorable for a burnout operation, and we conducted a burnout operation of about 50 to 60 acres that connected with the other burn blocks that have been done in the past to help shore up that eastern side of the fire.
Now, the majority of the smoke we're seeing today and into this evening along the front comes from those burnout operations, with local firefighters on standby to locate any spot fires before they spread and protect those homes in the foothills. Lolo Peak is still the most expensive fire in the state, with over $34 million spent through yesterday, but those expenses are climbing more slowly now that air operations aren't as extensive as they have been. And of course, we continue to track fire information on air and online. There's so many fires going on right now, but you can find all the latest info on our Facebook page, our Twitter feeds, of course, for breaking news, the KPAX mobile app, and our website at kpax.com.
Salute to Service is brought to you by Flathead Electric Cooperative, your not-for-profit member-owned co-op.
It's about trust, obedience, and a companionship meant to last a lifetime. In this week's Salute to Service report, Nicole Miller introduces us to the Flathead Valley's first K-9 unit. Officer Jason Parse with Kalispell Police Department and his partner, Cairo.
Come on, buddy. Hey, come on.
When a K-9 officer and dog are paired together,
Shedding an awful lot. Is it warm back there? Huh?
the partnership is meant to last for life. They live together, work together,
Go get your own.
and play together. They trust each other completely.
Good boy, Cairo. Good boy. When we get ready for patrol, I'll brush him, and then we'll do a quick 10 to 15 minute session on obedience. Good boy. Bring it here.
The bond between a K-9 handler and K-9 runs deep.
The weeks go by, months go by, and that bond between us gets better, and his work ethic gets better, his abilities get better. Come on.
After his daily swim in Flathead Lake, it's off to work for Cairo and his K-9 handler, Officer Jason Parse with the Kalispell Police Department.
Our primary duty is drug interdiction, so we're on patrol most of the time. Our job is to, without giving away some of the secrets of the trade, but our job is to basically observe and identify, our training and experience indicates to us.
Officer Parse and K-9 Cairo are very active in the community. If you see them out and about, always ask Officer Parse if you can approach.
He's not trained to bite people, but because of the breed that he is and because of the bond that we have, he is very protective.
Reporting in Kalispell, Nicole Miller, MTN News.
I still think that looks like a great job with the way the weather is going to be here going into the weekend. Grizz game day and the rest of the holiday weekend. Russ has your full forecast, and we'll see how hot and smoky it's going to be over the next few days before a few changes set in. Those details coming up here on KPAX.